the tunnel, and after that, you're going to find reduced speed traffic.
1360, 610, 1240, and 1470. The Talk of Connecticut.
Well, let's head over to Plainville, Connecticut. Not too far away. Plainville, actually the town of, had made a cameo appearance back in a 1959 Doris Day film, and it might become the background for an independent movie studio sci-fi horror movie. I'm so pleased to welcome to the show. He is the man behind that possibility. He's with Moongoil Entertainment, Dennis Broderick. Hi, Dennis.
Hi, Mary. How are you?
I am doing great. Hey, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
It is always exciting to hear about, learn about Connecticut towns when they might be the backdrop and location for movies. So thanks again for joining us. So what are your plans?
Well, my plans are to shoot the movie. It's called Altered Evil. We're going to be shooting it starting this summer. And I want to use my town here. It's Plainville. I love it. It's a little town. It's got a lot of great locations right now. It would be perfect for the movie. And I expect to have about 400 or 500 extras in the movie, and I figured the easiest way to do that is to have them in town here. They're close by. They can all run down when I need them, hopefully.
Good. Now, you say your town, do you live in Plainville? Are you a Plainville native?
Yes, I am. Well, I'm not a native. I grew up in Farmington, but I came to Plainville about 26 years ago. And I just love this town. It's a great little town.
Yeah, it is. I grew up in New Britain, right next door to Plainville, and lived for about 20 years or so in Farmington. So it is a great little town. Now, what does one need to do to get permission, and who does one need to get permission from to film a movie in any town in Connecticut?
Well, pretty much, I went to the town just to approach them, let them know what I was doing. But for the most part, it's getting permissions from the owners of the property you want to use. Depending on where it is, and if it's town property, whatever, obviously you have to go through town officials. I know there's a state website that has locations for, that they control, but since it was right in Plainville, I figured I'd start really small, local, right with the town manager and the town council, and approach them with my idea. And I even told them I would approach all the owners of the properties myself. And so far, it's been pretty positive. I've got a lot of positive feedback and just enthusiasm from a lot of people I've approached.
Speaking with Dennis Broderick, he is with Moongoil Entertainment, and he's the man behind the movie. It's going to be called Altered Evil, that he's hoping to be able to film in his hometown of Plainville. I alluded earlier, Dennis, to the 1959 Doris Day film, and where that was filmed also, part of it in Plainville, and someone just called in. That film was called It Happened to Jane.
Yep.
Someone just called in and asked the name. Yes.
Yes, and it was done at the little rail station we had there. We had a train station back a long time ago in Plainville, and believe it or not, most of my shooting is going to be within probably about a half mile from that location.
Really? Oh.
No longer there, but the locations I want are right there. So.
And that movie, if I remember correctly, also starred Jack Lemmon and Ernie Kovacs.
Yes.
I believe, and because I do remember It Happened to Jane. So are you meeting any resistance?
Not yet, thank God. Hopefully I don't, but for the most part, it's really been positive. I still haven't approached certain people, but at this point, things are going really well. I plan on approaching all the businesses, for sponsorship and stuff, and the few that I've approached already were really game. They were just pleased about all the attention and the possibilities of what we can do with this.
Yeah, absolutely. As you're talking, I'm trying to think, and I don't know all the variables, but I'm trying to think of, okay, what would be the negatives? You mentioned that you'd be using as many as 400 residents as extras.
Yep.
That you'd be offering production assistant internships to high school seniors. I mean, that's a real positive to be right on the location there. So what might a negative be?
At this point,
not that we want to focus on
screaming. I don't know. But it's. We also have a location that we're looking at that we may actually turn into a studio. So that's obviously going forward, that's my big plan. And I would love to bring a movie studio right into Plainville.
Mm-hmm.
There's a perfect location for it. I just got to wait to talk to the owner and see what we can do. And, that would just be beneficial for everybody. It would bring business in. It would just create great buzz, for the area.
Yes. Exactly. Now, this movie, again, it's going to be called Altered Evil, is a science fiction, like, horror movie. Is that the right genre?
Yeah, science fiction, fantasy, horror. It's going to be a little mix of everything. I mean, our base, if you look at our website, we're definitely, our roots are horror. And I do mean horror when I say that. But we wanted to expand a little bit. We wanted to try to expand, go a little more mainstream, see if we can broaden ourselves a little bit. And that's why we picked this project. We figured it would be perfect. It would get us out to more people. It would be more of a mainstream movie. And I just think it would work out really well for everybody,
Now, I'm curious, Dennis, speaking with Dennis Broderick of Moongoil Entertainment. Can you stay with us a couple minutes? Because
Sure.
I would love to ask you what it is like to put a movie together. You know, it's a fascinating industry, a fascinating career that you are involved in, and with a great deal of success in terms of the films that you've done so far. So can you stay with us?
Sure.
Terrific. Let's check in right now for our last traffic report with Nicole Davis. Hi, Nicole.
Hello to you, Mary. Yes, we have a lot of heavy traffic out there across the Hartford area, starting right now on Route 2.
Staying with us, by the way. Appreciate that.
No problem.
And you've lived in Plainville for how many years now? Over 20?
Yeah, about 26 years.
So you're pretty much a native at this point, I would say. You're a local. Now, your profession overall, it's just interesting. You know, we know about movies in terms of sitting in a theater or on our couch watching them, but we don't know a lot about making a movie. How did you get into this?
Well, here's the neat thing. I got into it about 4 years ago, and like everybody else, I watched movies my whole life, and I saw this fabulous movie called Across the Universe, and it just blew me away. It was so well done. I just loved the whole concept, and it was like the first time in my life I felt like I was left out of something. Like, that'd be something really cool to do. And
was that a science fiction movie?
No, it's actually, believe it or not, it's like a musical. It's all about the Beatles music and all that. But it was just the way it was done was just so great, and they had some really fabulous sets and stuff, and it was just putting that together, I imagine, was just so fantastic. And I always want to be a part of that. And about 2 weeks later, I got a call from these guys. My brother was helping them out, and he's part of it, and they had a couple things they needed to find for their movie. They couldn't find it, and I found it for them in about 5-10 minutes, and they were all excited, and they asked me to come on board. So about 2 weeks later, I was on a movie set.
Really?
Yeah, so it was very cool.
And you've never looked back?
Never looked back. The funny thing is, it's actually, at this point, it's a hobby. It's the coolest hobby in the world. It's not my day job, but technology is so great now. You can do it out of your house. You can do it. I mean, it's amazing what technology has done for making movies like this.
Well, how lucky you are, Dennis, just in general. How lucky you are to have a hobby, to have a pastime that you love as much. I mean, what you just said, that's what so many people dream of.
Yeah, it's very cool. There's nothing like it putting a movie together. You're not putting the movie together chronologically per se, so you're not putting it scene by scene like you'd see it watched, when it's finished. So you're pretty much putting this puzzle together, and you're shooting different scenes and making sure the continuity is there, and it's just really neat when you put it all together at the end and go, wow, it worked. It's all there.
Look at it. Yeah.
Very cool,
Dennis Broderick with Moongoil Entertainment. So thinking very positively, as I tend to do, especially when I'm not aware of any reasons not to, and again, in thinking about the town of Plainville, hopefully approving your request to do this, and there are so many positives, as you've mentioned. Once it begins, what will your role be? What will you be doing?
Well, I'm going to have pretty much a hand in everything. I've got 4 great guys in the company with me. They are fabulously talented. Just as dedicated as I am, just as, having as much fun doing their passion. They're great guys. They just, at this point, wanted to stay anonymous. We decided who was going to be out front, and I was the short one, so I'm the one that got picked there. But I just got to tell you, it's just great. It's so much fun putting everything together,
Now, people are wondering about casting. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, casting, what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 auditions. We're going to do 1 audition up in the Springfield area. We're going to do another one in the New Haven area. So we figure to get people from New York and that area, and, people from Boston. And then we're doing a special one in Plainville just for the Plainville people. It's going to be a sign-up/audition. So if you just want to come down and sign up to be an extra, great. If you want to try out for a part, that's great too. So we'll be doing 3 casting calls, probably end of March, mid-April, excuse me.
And for most of these roles, do they require, and this is probably a very silly question, but do they require previous acting experience?
Well, that always helps, but there's nothing to say somebody can't walk in the door and just knock your socks off, just have the natural ability to be able to pull off the lines or to pull off a character or something. But, yeah, sure, acting really helps, but, I mean, if you're really interested, you've always wanted to do this, and you really think you have the talent, by all means, please. Try out.
Well, see, now you have to keep us posted. Now that
Not a problem at all.
Now that I've had a chance to talk to you and learn a little bit about you and the movie and the direction you're going to go in with it, hopefully in Plainville. What if Plainville says no, by the way?
Well, at this point, I can happily tell you pretty much it's pretty solid I'm here in Plainville. They gave me open arms. They, everything I want to do so far they all just thought it was great. They didn't see any problem with anything I proposed. So at this point, it's just a matter of there's certain, I want to drive around. I'm going to pick some neighborhoods out and see if I can get the neighborhoods. I want to shoot in a couple locations in some neighborhoods. We'll be closing a couple roads. And if I get the neighborhood involved, and that'd be kind of neat for them too. I just try to make it like a big community thing.
Oh, and what about the wardrobe, the costumes?
The costumes are going to be pretty simple. For the main characters, probably not. They'll be a little different. We have, we're going to have, let's see now. We'll have female warriors, so I'm sure you'll like that. The women have the power in this movie.
I'm loving it already, Dennis.
I figured you'd like that. We also are going to have a few freaks. That's the horror part of the movie. I really can't explain them. You'd have to see them to believe them, but they're pretty cool. And then we have a bunch of men that are pretty much just going to be kind of like mindless killer berserkers, if you will, and they're going to be the ones attacking survivors. We're going to have a bunch of survivors, camps of survivors, and these warrior women are going to be protecting the survivors and fighting off the bad guys, per se.
And we have just about 2 minutes left, but I'm curious, who was it that wrote the storyline?
Well, it was one of our other producers. His name is Aaron, and myself have been writing the script. So, I mean, that's why I'm going to be directing parts of it once the movie gets going, and then, I'll make sure that everything runs smoothly.
Very exciting. We are rooting for you. It sounds like you are good to go in terms of Plainville. That's wonderful.
Yeah,
again,
great.
Hoping to use, as you mentioned, that you are as many as 400 residents as extras and offer production assistant internships to local high school students. I mean, that's very, very exciting. Dennis Broderick, Moongoil Entertainment is his business. Would you promise to come back and update us, number one?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
I'm going to hold you to that, Dennis. And would you like to share your website if that's the best place for folks to follow up with you and how things are standing?
Yeah, they could check the website out at moongoil.com. Anybody that wants any part of this, if you're even behind the camera, if you got talent that you think would help us out, my email is all small letters. It's dennis.broderick@moongoil.com.
And we did put your website on our website earlier today, so folks can go to talkofconnecticut.com as well. And there's a link to your website. Dennis, thank you so much. It sounds like a fun project. I will admit I'm not a huge, well, I shouldn't say I'm not a huge science fiction fan. I just haven't seen many sci-fi movies.
Well, hopefully it could change your mind.
Well, I'm definitely going to be checking this one out. Dennis Broderick, thank you so much. Let's stay in touch.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not a huge